Good morning. Welcome to the Tom Taylor Show. It's that guy. We hope you're having a great New Year's 2017 already. We had a great weekend and enjoyed ourselves thoroughly, and so we're back at it after a day off. Thanks for the day off and recharging old batteries, and here we go. We got lots to talk about here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, and again, want to say Happy New Year to you and yours, and again, hope you had a great Christmas and now New Year weekend, and now, again, we're in turn the corner, and here we are, 2017 on this Tuesday, January the 3rd. I'm all mixed up on my days. Keep thinking this is Monday, so, stress. It doesn't take much to get me worked up, or not worked up, but to get me frazzled, and so I keep thinking this is Monday, but it's Tuesday. Good morning to you. We are live in the Tom Taylor Sports Show studio today, and so we are here. Ben is there in the studio, WETB. We're going to be with you for the next 2 hours talking lots of sports, college basketball, pro football. The playoffs are set. The Raiders ain't looking too good, but we'll see. College football coming up here in just a second. Got a report just breaking a few minutes ago. NFL player arrested this morning and had a little attitude adjustment. Was trying to kick out the windows of a police car and had to be detained and had to get his attention. So we'll tell you all about that coming up here in just a few minutes here on the show. But we thank you for being with us. We always start our show as we have since day one, and we'll continue to do so. We dedicate this show to the man on the cross, no question. It says out of the book of Isaiah 12, verse 2, I am your salvation. Trust in me and do not be afraid. I am your strength and your song. There you go. Well, my bell may be junked up again. We need to for some reason. Is that what I got to do? All right. So, good morning, Ben. For you, how you doing? Well, I was going to get to my dinger don't ding, so that's a little bit better. But it would appear to be one of the new purchases for the supply list for the show coming up this year would be go get a new bell, so we'll do that. So, we will be joined again by Gary Kubiak. We're going to hear from Gary Kubiak later in the show, the Denver Bronco head football coach who walked away from the NFL coaching ranks, and so that's going to be the folks we're going to be hearing from today. We got lots of sports that Ben and I are going to talk about throughout the show, and then tomorrow back at Champion. Tomorrow Chick-fil-A. Thursday will be at Champion, and then Friday we're going to be at Food City, and we haven't got our marching orders to where we're going to be yet. So all that coming up this week in the first week of January 2017. So. Weather forecast, Ben Foy. I don't really want to even have you give the weather forecast, but it is that which it is, and it'll be over soon enough. So give us this cold Arctic fronts coming in here this weekend. Tell us about it on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, would you please? Bite your tongue, son. Bite your tongue. So, good grief, don't say those kind of mean words. 12 degrees on Saturday night. In fact, we've got an update here from American Import and Auto Repair, one of our great sponsors, about some of the things you need to check on your vehicle, and we'll do that coming up a little bit later in the show here. Do want to start the show by telling you something really cool. This show is based on the Lord, and we don't make any apologies for that. By the way, hello to us on Facebook Live. So here's what happened. Our pastor, who you hear on Wednesdays with our Major League Baseball update, his daughter recently had back surgery to make some corrections in her back. And so, to make a long story short, in the Reader's Digest version, surgery went great. The after effects, a lot of nausea, a lot of pain, a lot of this, a lot of that. So the power of prayer kicked in. That's the whole point of what I'm getting ready to tell you. And so what happened on Sunday, we had a prayer service at church for her and family. She was on Saturday night in immense pain, a lot of pain. I mean, it was excruciating, according to her daddy. This young lady's under 18 years old, so she's a teenager, but still, pain is pain, no matter how old you are. So, my point of that, younger folks handle pain a lot better than us older folks, but still, she was in a bunch of pain. So, point of all this is we have a prayer service for her on Sunday morning. We kind of just put the regular service on pause. We all gathered up front of the altar and we all prayed as a church. We started about 20 after the hour of 11 o'clock, and we finished, obviously it's about a 30-minute prayer service, and we finished up about 10 to 12. She wakes up at 12 o'clock because she'd been asleep all night. She'd been medicated with all the pain she's going through. She woke up at 12 o'clock or thereabouts on Sunday, and the nurses, the doctors, everybody said she did a complete 180. As far as pain went away, in fact, she's home now. And she went from severe, excruciating pain as a result of the surgery, more importantly, the after effects of the surgery. And with the power of prayer, when two or more gather in my name, things happen, and obviously it did. So as a result of that prayer, this young lady went home, and again, when she woke up out of her sleep for the night, she was totally different than she was when she went to bed. No more pain, or not as much pain. So what's the moral of the story here? We talk about it all the time. You know, he challenges us to bring our petitions to him and then expect for him to answer them. Now, he may answer yes, he may answer no, he may answer not right now, but he will answer your prayer. It may not be the way you want it, but he will answer. In this case, he did. I'm under the theory, and this is purely a speculation on my part, that he let this little girl go through what she went through because our church rallied around her like we've never done before with someone. And so I'm not so sure that he didn't take that so he could get the glory and the honor, because he changed this young lady in a matter of about 15, 20 minutes. And then as a result of that, our prayers were answered. We've told a lot of people. I'm telling you about it here on the show. So, folks, I guess what I'm trying to tell you here, without getting too philosophical or whatever, don't give up. Don't quit. Keep taking to the Lord. Pray without ceasing and expect a miracle, because we got one with this little girl on Sunday. So I told my little people, and everybody wanted to hear me, I said, if you doubted the Lord didn't answer prayer, you saw it firsthand on Sunday, January 1st. So there you go. So that's how I wanted to start the show today. And this young lady's at home. She is resting, recuperating, and getting stronger by the day. And so prayer works, folks. That's the bottom line to all this. I'm telling you, the power of prayer is unbelievable. He's still in the miracle business. So as Forrest Gump says, that's all about that. That's exactly right. In fact, got a little extra side note to that over here. It says, I can read this all the time from my man Charles Stanley, to fully trust him, stop asking him and start thanking him. That is a sign of full trust. To fully trust the Lord, you stop asking him and start thanking him for what he's going to do. And so he did. And we thanked him Sunday, and he heard us. And it's not because we're any great shakes. We're just obedient, did what we're supposed to as believers. So anyway, there's hopefully your uplifting for the day that I saw firsthand, as did our entire congregation, as did the nursing staff and the other folks in Nicewanger Children's Hospital, that the Lord answers prayer in 2017. So there you go. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're going to jump in here and talk college football. Oh, the Gator Man's happy. I guess he should be. There's folks down in Auburn that ain't happy. And, of course, Penn State had a heartbreaker. We'll talk about college football. And also, my man Lane Kiffin, he stepped in it again. We'll tell you all about that coming up next here on our college football segment here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Again, on AM 790 WETB and also on Facebook Live. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Hello, Facebook Live. Again, it's a one-stop shop, TomTaylorSports.com. You can like us and share us, and you do. We can't thank you enough for that. Be sure and share us. First off, like us and then share us to other folks. Again, the power of the Facebook Live is unbelievable. We did a little spiel on New Year's Eve down at a place called the Chocolate Monkey down in Pigeon Forge, and I mean, the Facebook's blown up with this thing. Folks are reacting, these chocoholics reacting to all the chocolate. So the power of Facebook and the power of radio. We had a gentleman that bought a truck off of us from Champion Chevrolet, hearing us on the radio. We had a gentleman go into one of those maintenance club cards as a result of hearing us on the radio. So it's a winning combination, as Ben and I talked about earlier. So again, Facebook Live, be sure and like us and share us. Share us and like us. You can go to TomTaylorSports.com, hit the button to hear the radio show live, hit the button to watch us Facebook Live. So that's all thanks to Michael Smith and Jeremiah Clark at Appalachian Digital, AppalachianDigital.com. So still don't think I'm saying it right. Digital. Guy's been in the business. Did I say it right? I don't think I did I? So, all right. So anyway, Facebook Live. Again, we're in studio today, and we'll be ready out on the road at Chick-fil-A tomorrow. So hello, Jerry Keller. Yes, God sure is great. You better believe he is. So thank you. He is very great. So worthy to be praised. So what a way to start 2017, see a miracle happen right in front of your eyes. So anyway, we'll come back and we'll be ready to go. Our first segment of the show will be college football coming up next here. All right, brother. So 61 now and 12 Saturday morning. Wow. Good grief. All right, so I got to cut a new one. It's Solgar. I'll cut a new one tonight and send it to you. Champion's not cut one yet, so. Back on the Tom Ford Show. Hello, Jerry Keller. Yes, God sure is great. You better believe it. Hit the bell. So all he wants to do is for us to tell folks what he's done, and I did my job. I told you what he's done, and you can take it and go with it as you need to go with it, all of you, all of us, and there you go. As Forrest Gump said, that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's take a look at college football, ready to roll here. Good stuff. Bowl season winding down, of course. Let's see here. Championship. Yeah. All right, here. Oh, there it is. All right, here we go. Always like to wait for the music, and the music's rolling, so here we be. Good morning to you. Thanks for being with us, and it's at, 11:18 here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. And we'll start the Outback Bowl. Number 20, Florida dominating the Outback with stingy defense and a persistent offense that did its job, too. Chauncey Gardner Jr. returned one of his two fourth-quarter interceptions, 58 yards for a touchdown. Graduate transfer Austin Appleby threw for 222 yards. Remember, the Gators did not have their regular starting quarterback in Del Rio. He was out. Appleby, 222 yards, a couple of touchdowns to pace the rout of number 21 Iowa, 30-3. Gardner grabbing game MVP honors, rather. The Gators now 9-4, held up their end of what many expected to be a day the defense ruled, especially considering Florida entered ranked 115th in the nation in total offense. 5 spots ahead of the sputtering Hawkeyes. Florida 9-4, rebounding from lopsided losses to arch rival Florida State and number 1 ranked Alabama, scoring more points on Iowa, who finishes at 8-5, more points on Iowa than the Hawkeyes allowed to Michigan, Illinois, and Nebraska combined. Whew. In other words, they took a butt whooping on national television while ending the regular season on a 3-game winning streak. So there you go, Florida finishing things out very, very strong. And Iowa did not, so that always works to either for you or against you in the recruiting season. That's very much, we are in high gear recruiting season because signing date's coming up in early February for college football. After 98 combined points and 1,040 yards of spectacular offensive play, the highest scoring Rose Bowl in history, resting on the bit of a Southern California kicker who'd already missed 2 field goals in the game. There's a great storyline for all of us. You never quit. Matt Boymeister somehow blocked out the tension in the chilly air of Southern California, Pasadena, focused only on securing a perfect ending to a great evening, and he did. He had a 46-yard field goal. Again, he's 0 for 2 earlier in the game, or missed 2 earlier in the game. 46-yard field goals, time expired. Number 9 Southern Cal rallied from a 14-point deficit in the fourth quarter for a 52-49 shocking win over number 5 Penn State in the 103rd edition of the Grand Bowl, the Rose Bowl. Learned this the other day too. Ben, do you know why they didn't play the Rose Bowl on Sunday, which they normally do? There is a law, maybe a clause in the contract on the Rose Bowl. You do not play on Sunday so folks can go to church. This went all the way back to the 1800s. So typically the Rose Bowl is played on New Year's Day. When it falls on Sunday, I think it's a cool rule. They said we're not going to play the game on Sunday so people can go to church. That's been a law or a rule that's been put in effect at the Rose Bowl since the 1800s. So that's why they played the game yesterday. So you better believe it. Survival mode. You got it. And he not only survived but kicked the game-winning field goal. Freshman Sam Darnold passed for 453 yards, 5 touchdowns, while leading a comeback by the Trojans, who finished at 10-3, winning their 9th consecutive game, winning their first Rose Bowl since 2009. It's amazing. With 9 minutes to go in the ball game, Southern Cal trailed 49-35, but persevered to win one of the greatest Rose Bowls ever played yesterday in Pasadena. I don't know, but oh yeah, you talking about his stock going up in the National Football League? I know a team that could use him right now, probably the Raiders. We're looking for quarterbacks. If you throw the ball, by the way, we may suit you up, send you to Houston this weekend, because they are looking seriously. They're trying to find a quarterback because, of course, Carr's gone, McLaughlin's gone, or it looks like he's going to be gone. So they got Connor Cook, young man out of Michigan State, did okay. We'll talk more about that in a moment. So we may need you to suit up for you, and we're going to bust you down to Houston. Well, no, if you're going to play for me, I'll fly you to Houston. So put that liniment on your arm, son. Loosen up. You may be going down to quarterback the Raiders. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment. Last game of the bowl season last night, Sugar Bowl, Dandy. Baker Mayfield, 296 yards and 2 touchdowns, including 1 scoring pass to fellow Heisman Trophy finalist Dede Westbrook. 7th-ranked Oklahoma ending its season on a 10-game winning streak, defeating number 17 Auburn 35-19 in the Sugar Bowl last night. Sooners running back Joe Mixon heard repeated boos from Auburn fans, who also shouted some not-so-nice comments regarding a recently publicized video of Mixon punching a woman in the face back in 2014. Mixon, who has apologized for the assault, also drew cheers from Oklahoma fans with his play. His 2 short touchdown runs were among the highlights of a performance in which he gained 180 yards from scrimmage, 91 rushing on 19 carries, and 89 receiving on 5 catches. Does he play in the game, Ben Foy, if you're the coach, after a video of punching a lady in the face? He has apologized. You let the guy play or not? He's getting a lot of pros and cons to this scenario. What do you think? 2 years ago, 2004, now 3 years, 2014. Well, yeah, well, I'm not condoning in any way, shape, or form what he did, but the older I get, the more I look around and think, you know what? Man, I've screwed up so many times in my life. The Lord's come along and fixed me. What's wrong with giving a guy another chance? Now, I don't tolerate, let me repeat, I do not tolerate or condone in any way, shape, or form a man striking a woman. I think you're pretty gutless to do that. But again, if he's done it and he apologized for it, I don't know what else. If he's been arrested, I don't know the legalities of what he did. But if everything's, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if everything has met what he is supposed to have done and did to appease whoever, I don't know about the young lady that he struck. I have no clue about any of this, but I'm like you. After 2 or 3 years, I mean, how long do you have to pay for your penalty? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's still people after Michael Vick over the dogfighting incident. This guy went to jail over it, gave so much money to Humane Society and this time, and now there's people still kind of thrown up in his face. So, I guess you just wonder when, and I'm not condoning Joe Mixon in any way, shape, or form, but it was 3 years ago, so I don't know. But there's other folks say, hey, he did it. He should pay for it. So I don't know. But he got booed by the Auburn fans last night and got cheered with Oklahoma fans. So, well, it's been out there. It's kind of been, I don't think it's really been, yeah, you're kind of right. This season's kind of came to the forefront. So I think they wanted to go away in Oklahoma and it did not. Sooners 11-2, pulling away for the second Sugar Bowl win in 4 years. And so Auburn 8-5, which wound up in the Sugar Bowl despite losing its last two Southeastern Conference games to Georgia and Alabama, entered the game. Hopefully it would be jump-started by the return of quarterback Shaun White, who'd missed the Tigers' final two games with a throwing shoulder injury. He led Auburn to a touchdown on his first series, a Chandler Cox 3-yard run on fourth down, but the quarterback left the game for good in the first half with a right arm injury. Found out later he broke his arm. So the guy stayed in the game, broke his arm, stayed in the game till halftime, went into the locker room, x-rayed it, and said, this guy's got a broken arm. So that's pretty tough right there, Ben Foy, be out there in a college football game, in a big game, or any game for that matter, and be playing with a broken arm. So, yeah. And you got other guys that want to play because they're afraid it may hurt their stock in the National Football League. This guy's out there playing with a broken arm. So, there you go. You tell me which one I want to draft and play on my football team in the future. It ain't the boy. There you go. I'm liking this Shaun White guy, and so don't know much about him, but his intestinal fortitude has told me a lot about this young man. Tom Taylor Sports Show. It is 11:27. We're live again at the Tom Taylor Sports Show studio on this Tuesday, January the 3rd. We will, of course, be back out on the trail tomorrow. We'll be at Chick-fil-A at the crossings in North Johnson City. On Thursday, we'll be at Champion Chevrolet. On Friday, we're due to be at a Food City, and so next week, oh man, where are we going to be next week? Let's see. I can tell you, Monday we're going to be at a Hardee's to be determined. Tuesday, American Import and Auto Repair. Next Wednesday, Chick-fil-A. Next Thursday, Champion. Next Friday we'll be at Food City. Coming up later in the month, we're going to be at Burma, Cherokee Barbershop. We're working through, going to be at Freddy's in North Johnson City. Whoo! Now, yowza. I can hammer those hamburgers at Freddy's. Lousy mercy. And them little shoestring taters, tater fry, potato strings, whatever you call them. Lord have mercy. Then you got them big old ice creams. You ever had the ice cream from Freddy's? I mean, to me, it's the real custard we had when we were kids. So, anyway, we're going to be there at a feature show as well, so we're excited about that. Well, our man Ben Foy did it again. Old Lane got himself in trouble, I guess. I think that's what kind of happened. So, they're kind of downplaying it in Tuscaloosa. You know, I talked last week, and you're willing to weigh in on Facebook Live and give me your thoughts about anything we're talking about, whether you think Joe Mixon should be playing or not, or you think Kiffin got in the doghouse with Saban. But you can just do that on Facebook Live if you're so desiring. We'll respond to what you have to say. Kiffin, again, we talked last week, named the head football coach of Florida Atlantic, and also said he'd stay on as the offensive coordinator for Alabama. Now, I would assume in your career you've been in a situation where you've had one job, getting ready to go to another job, you give notice, and so the job you're leaving kind of becomes an afterthought because you're focusing all your energy and your attention on the job you're going to. And so I said last week, I don't see how he's going to be able to juggle. He did say during the day he was Alabama guy, and during the evening he was Florida Atlantic guy, out trying to get coaching staff together, doing recruiting, beating on doors. And so I don't know if that's the reason, but for whatever reason, he was let go and was asked not to come back and coach the final game for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The irony of this is, it happens to be the biggest game of the year. It's the national championship. Now, you know, one thought process is Alabama's Alabama. You could put me in there as offensive coordinator. It's going to be okay because it's a machine. It's going to run. The other thought process is it makes the apple wagon a bit by replacing him with Steve Sarkisian, the new offensive coordinator coming over from Southern Cal. So there's two schools of thought on that. But my question is, did he really get in trouble? I know there was some chewing going on the sideline during the Washington game. The play calling, a little suspect. A lot of folks were not pleased with the play calling by Lane Kiffin as far as playing against Washington. So I don't know if all that's rolled into one. It's kind of led to his dismissal. I guess you call it dismissal. They say in the best interest of both parties, I should say, they agreed to shake hands and go away. So, but again, Ben Foy, it's the biggest game of the year. It's the national championship, and now you lose your offensive coordinator 3 or 4 days before the game. But to me, there's more to it than we're being told. We may never know, but Maybe. Could be, because Clemson's coming in with a lot of momentum. I know one of the things he did not do, or he did do, he wasn't supposed to do. We're talking about Kiffin. As an assistant coach, University of Alabama, you're not talking to the media. Well, they kind of hoodwinked him a little bit because at his Florida Atlantic, I'm the new head coach press conference, they began to ask him about Alabama, and he responded, said some things he probably regretted. A couple of those was, all I remember in Alabama, he said, I hate to say it, all I remember is the butt chewings. Here's a quote. I don't recall a happy moment, he told reporters in Atlanta. I just recall the beep chewings. So he also says this is going to come across wrong, but it's like dog years. 3 years at Alabama is like 21. So, yeah, that's it, Lane. Clamp it, buddy. Zip it, as they say. Now, he has more at this same press conference. This guy's out shopping for a home between $3 and $5 million. Kiffin, who's recently divorced from his ex-wife Layla, and this is the joke about her, he said, I used to say there's constantly a daily battle between who can take more of my money, Barack Obama or my wife Layla. Whew. He's like a journalist paradise. Standing around, he's going to say pretty stupid pretty soon. So anyway, that's what's going on. Lane Kiffin no longer is the offensive coordinator at Alabama, and Steve Sarkisian coming over from Southern Cal is. Now, I think this has been premeditated. Is that the right word to use? I guess premeditated, because in the middle of the season, he brings, if folks remember, Sarkisian got in trouble with Southern Cal with his alcohol abuse and was at a Southern Cal fundraising function with the alumni. He was apparently intoxicated to the point they had to go up on the podium while he was speaking, and he was just rambling and kind of slurring, and had to bring him off the stage. And then Pat Hayden, the athletic director at Southern Cal, ultimately let him go. So you set it up to that point. The guy's a phenomenal offensive mind, but he's had some personal problems. He, too, has gone through a divorce. And so as a result of that, Saban brings him on the staff in the middle of the season. Folks going, why did Nick Saban reach out to Steve Sarkisian, give him another chance? Well, this is the way the guy is, I think. He likes to give folks chances to, again, better themselves and make a turnaround in their life. So the timing, don't know, but the guy walks into Alabama, and he is a consultant with the offensive unit. Kiffin continues to do whatever he's doing and takes another job, and so ultimately gets canned before the national championship game. This guy's in place, ready to go, and I think there was more to it. I think somewhere, you may never know this, but I think this is me talking, somewhere in some room behind closed doors, either Saban and Kiffin got together, or Kiffin told him he was leaving, or Saban told him at some point in the season, make this your last go-around. Something happened, because it's just too uncanny to bring this guy in, Steve Sarkisian. Yes, you're going to give him another chance. I understand that. But timing is everything, and I think he came there. Somebody has set him down and said, you may be the OC before it's all said and done. Kiffin may be gone. So, anyway. Consultant? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and to make a comparison, the Lane Kiffin and Kirby Smart, who was the coach at Alabama, the defensive coordinator, left to go to Georgia. He stayed with their team while beginning work at the new job. Kiffin seemed, particularly who had checked out, and I'm reading more about this now, that Kirby Smart stayed on through the national championship game last year as the defensive coordinator for Georgia and gave him 120%. Then he went to Athens and began to take over for Mark Richt. Apparently, Kiffin checked out while he was the offensive coordinator for the University of Alabama. So, yeah. Yep. Steve Sarkisian, by the way, seems to have a thing for following in Kiffin's footsteps. He succeeded him at Southern Cal as a head coach in 2013. Lost his job 2 years later after repeated public instances of alcohol problems, as I said. Last month, Saban hired him to succeed Kiffin as the Alabama offensive coordinator. Now he'll start that job a week earlier than expected. All he has to do is call Bama's plays for the first time in the biggest game of the season. What could go wrong? Plenty. Of course, Sarkisian is as well prepared as one could be. While he couldn't coach Alabama's players in his role as a analyst slash consultant, he broke down film, sat in on meetings, and in fact sat in the booth during games. And so it's not like he's a rookie play caller. He was an offensive coordinator for Pete Carroll at Southern Cal, including the national title game in 2005 against Texas. He's also been a head coach. So it's not like this guy's a rookie. So anyway, Lane Kiffin's gone, and now is the offensive coordinator. Steve Sarkisian is now the OC, offensive coordinator for the University of Alabama. Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live again on this Tuesday. Thanks for being with us. Coming up, we got college basketball. One of the marquee coaches, in fact, maybe the greatest of all time, certainly one of the greatest, stepping away from the program. We'll tell you why for health reasons. Also got the National Hockey League, the NBA, on the local scene. Got a big night tonight on high school basketball. Some of the school systems going back today. A lot of them will be back in action tomorrow. And so high school basketball front and center conference play starts tonight. We'll take a look at that coming up. Tennessee's got a game tonight. The Big Orange back in Southeastern Conference play. Their home opener at Thompson Bowling Arena. We'll talk about that. All that coming up here in just a few minutes. One more college football note. I've heard it pronounced Kaya and Kaye. Brad Kaya. I'm going to go with Kaye. Kaaya. Brad Kaya. Announcing. I've heard it pronounced 3 or 4 different ways. So I'm going to go with that one. Kaaya. Kaya. Announcing to the school Monday he will forego his senior season with Miami and enter the 2017 NFL Draft. He is the all-time leader in passing yards at the University of Miami, all-time leader in completion attempts, started 38 games during his 3-year career with the Hurricanes, threw 27 touchdowns to 7 interceptions in his first year under Mark Richt, and so he is moving on, and he's going to, again, forego his senior season. Also, Gerard Evans, the outstanding quarterback for the Virginia Tech Hokies, leaving early, as is Isaiah Ford, the number 1 wide receiver for Virginia Tech. So Justin Fuente must have known something because he said in his press conference after the win over Arkansas in the Belk Bowl, he said, we're going to enjoy this today. Starting tomorrow, we'll have a brand new football team, a whole new look at our team. So I guarantee he was told or tipped off that these 2 guys are going to leave. Evans, the quarterback, and Ford, the wide receiver for Virginia Tech. So the carousel's begun, and so we'll see how things go with their football teams. And, of course, Virginia Tech with a phenomenal turnaround, a 35 unanswered point game to beat Arkansas 35-24 in the Belk Bowl last week in Charlotte. So the Hokies on the recruiting trail looking for quarterback, looking for a wide receiver, although I'm sure they got some in the system in Blacksburg, but that's the very latest there in college football. Some of the guys stepping out early to say we're going to go play for the NFL and try our chances there. And there's one more I wanted to pass on to you. Yeah, Ohio State All-American Malik Hooker, the safety for the Buckeyes, leaving early also to go to the National Football League. It is 11:39. We'll take a quick break, come right back. We'll switch gears. We'll talk a little college basketball coming up here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live at the Tom Taylor Sports Show studio on AM 790 WETB and also on Facebook Live. Okay, what time is it? 11:34. Okay, let me reset it. Okay, it's still 34 and 5. Okay. All right, that's a pretty good segment. Hello to Facebook Live. TomTaylorSports.com is the one-stop shop to go to. And so we appreciate that if you'll like us and then share us. That's the key, to share us, and you have been, and we appreciate that very much, more than you realize. So, again, thank you for that. Okay, we got the National Football League coming up and college hoops. Where's my hoops at? Okay, where's my copy? Oh, right in front of me. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if I knew a domain to go to, I would be looking these up, but I don't know one to go to. I mean, I've got some sports music here, so okay. 11:35 again. Thanks for being with us. Great temperatures outside here in the Tri-Cities. Big changes coming. And one of our great sponsors, American Import and Auto Repair, home of the free loaner car program, reminding you about getting your car ready for winter weather. For snow here in the Tri-Cities, Ben Foy, I just don't see. I mean, let me back it up. I see the snow coming, obviously. I just don't see it sticking. You know, it's 61 today. It was 60 yesterday, and we're going to get, cold weather coming in here in 2 or 3 days. Can the ground get cold that quick? And I'm talking about here in the immediate Tri-Cities. Mountains are a totally different thing, but here in the immediate Tri-Cities, I just don't think it's going to get cold enough for it to stick. And it's going to look pretty, I guess, the snow coming, but can the temperatures drop that quickly after having 60-degree temperatures and the ground get that cold that quick for it to stick coming up this weekend or not? Yeah. All right. Just don't click it anymore. He said, let me click it again. Just don't click it anymore. I don't want to hear it. No. All right. I can live with that. But down in the teens, nah. Come on now. So it's going to warm back up. That's good. So, all right. There you go. So if you're going to be traveling and going to the north or going somewhere there is going to be snow and it is going to be sticking with accumulations, here's a couple of things to check out for your car. Compliments of American Import and Auto Repair. Check the battery and the charging system for optimum performance. Cold weather, very hard on batteries. Of course, they replace them at American Import and Auto Repair with quality American-made AC Delco batteries. Yeah. So check your battery. If you don't know how strong it is, stop by there, pop the trunk. Pop the trunk. Pop, yeah. If it's in the trunk, it's probably a Volkswagen bus. Pop the hood and let them, they'll do it for you. They'll check your battery and also open up your antifreeze, your radiator, stick a little gizmo down in there and check the strength of your antifreeze, which would be very smart. As a general rule of thumb, clean, flush, and put new antifreeze in the cooling system every 2 years. You want that checked before this weekend for sure. Check that the heaters, defrosters, and wipers work properly. Consider winter wiper blades and use cold weather washer fluid. As a general rule, wiper blades should be replaced every 6 months. Ben, you ever had a vehicle where the windshield wiper just, it's just a strip of rubber that's going across to there, not much to it? Oh, yeah. I've been there and done that, yep. So make sure, and something else that really clears up your windshield, wiper blades. And when you have some ice pellets or something overnight, you come out here, if you don't scrape your windshield and trying to rub that rubber across those pieces of ice that are stuck to your windshield, that'll wear it down. That'll show the wiper blade pretty quick. So there you go. There you go. So have that checked again, American Import and Auto Repair. Check the tire tread depth and tire pressure. That's a big one this time of year. This fluctuating temperatures, your tire pressure. If snow and ice are a problem where you plan on driving, consider special tires designed to grip slick road. During the wintertime, cold weather, tire pressure should be checked on a weekly basis, and that it should. Only thing between you and the road are 4 pieces of rubber, so make sure those tires have proper tire pressure. Check the oil and filter and be diligent about changing them at recommended intervals. Tim talked about this last week. Dirty oil can spell trouble in winter. Consider changing to winter weight oil if you drive in cold places. Have your tech check the fuel, air, and transmission filters at the same time. Let's see. Check engine performance. Winter magnifies existing problems such as hard starts, sluggish performance, and rough idling. Check the brakes. Braking system is the vehicle's most important safety item. That would be a no-brainer. Check the exhaust system for carbon monoxide leaks, especially dangerous during cold weather driving when windows are closed in your vehicle. That's a no-brainer. Check to see that exterior and interior lights work and headlights are properly aimed. That's a no-brainer. And then last but not least, drivers should keep their vehicle's gas tank at least half full to decrease the chances of moisture forming in the gas lines and possibly freezing. Now, Ben's talking about getting down into the teens this weekend. Make sure you have enough gas in your car. I mean, I've seen that happen before up in West Virginia growing up, and that ain't any fun. I can tell you that. I've saw somebody have to go through that. So the gas lines possibly could freeze. You say gasoline freezes? Absolutely. Motorists should also check the tire pressure of the spare in the trunk and stock an emergency kit with an ice scraper and snow brush, jumper cables, flashlight, a blanket, extra clothes, bottled water, dry food snacks, and any needed medication. Put that in your trunk, or if you have a pick-em-up truck somewhere, make sure that works and put that where it can be easily accessible. Again, a emergency kit, an ice scraper, that goes without saying, a snow brush has been talked about, jumper cables, a flashlight, a blanket, extra clothes, bottled water, dry food snacks, any needed medication, and probably a first aid kit wouldn't be a bad idea either. You get these vehicle first aid kits. I mean, you can't do surgery, but it's the basic stuff to close up a wound or whatever. And they have them in different sizes. So that would be our recommendation on behalf of American Import and Auto Repair to get your car, your vehicle ready for winter weather, which apparently is coming this weekend here in the Tri-Cities. Yes. $15. Yep. I still remember. I was going to say, I remember it happened not too long ago. It was a couple of years back where it was a Friday night. Everybody got caught in a kind of a real quick ice blitz, if you will, coming home on the interstate, and people were out there for hours before they got home because they got trapped and traffic was backed up. So, yep, you say, it's not going to happen to me. Maybe it won't, but be ready in case it does. So, there's some thoughts from our good friends, a great sponsor, American Import and Auto Repair. Sweet Georgia Brown time. It's 11:43 against the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Be sure and like us and share us on Facebook Live. And also, we are with you on AM 790 WETB covering 20 counties. We're also streaming on WETB790.com. We're now on TuneIn Radio. And as we said, we're on Facebook Live. Here we go. Let's bring it in and bring it up. Let's see what's going on in college basketball coming up tonight. Here we go. You have, involving ranked teams, you have number 3 Kansas hosting their in-state rival Kansas State, both at 12-1. Should be a good one tonight at 9 o'clock. Geographic rivals clash, and a Sunflower Showdown is what they're calling it. Number 6 Kentucky, their conference opener at Arena. The Wildcats taking on Texas A&M. A&M 8-4. The Wildcats 11-2 on the season. Number 7 West Virginia travels to Texas Tech to battle the Red Raiders in the Big 12. Also in college basketball involving ranked teams, 13th ranked Wisconsin travels to Indiana to take on the Hoosiers. The Badgers at 12-2, Indiana at 10-4. Wisconsin looking for their 9th straight victory of the season. 14th ranked North Carolina travels to Clemson to battle the Tigers tonight. 6 o'clock tip-off. Carolina at 12-3, Clemson at 11-2, and North Carolina a slight favorite to win that one on the road tonight. Also out of the Southeastern Conference, Ole Miss at 9-4. Taking on the Florida Gators at 10-3 in Gainesville, 24th ranked Florida. Florida's beaten Ole Miss the last 2 times they've met in regular season, so that one's going to be an SEC game tonight. And as we said, Arkansas takes on Tennessee at Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville. And that's your college basketball there. Also, the story coming out of Durham, Duke basketball coach and Hall of Famer Mike Krzyzewski undergoing back surgery, sidelining him for an indefinite period of time. The school announcing that yesterday. Associate head coach Jeff Capel will take over for Coach K during his recovery. Again, here's another situation when Coach got to step away. Ben Foy, what do you think? What do you think will happen to the Duke Blue Devils while this guy steps away? Not this guy. It's not just any guy. Coach K, who has a Division I record, 1,058 career wins. They're going to have big shoes to fill for Jeff Capel. Can he do it? What do you think is going to happen to Duke while he's gone for a month. That's what Cable is hoping for, of course, and so it's the latest of many setbacks for the program, which ended the season ranked number 1 in the country. The team has dealt with its fair share of injuries so far this season, starting with star freshman Harry Giles, underwent knee surgery in October, missed the start of the season for Duke. Giles had been projected by some as the number 1 overall pick in next year's NBA draft. Also, Jason Tatum and Marquise Bolden, a couple of other Blue Devils, have been hurt. And so just as they got close to 100%, health-wise, a new controversy arose. We told you about this last week or week before last when Grayson Allen was suspended indefinitely for tripping a player in a game against Elon. That's not been his first time he's done that. So the Blue Devils, again, ready to go with Jeff Capel running the show. Capel has experience serving as head coach at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, and Oklahoma over a 9-season stretch. During that time, Capel, his teams made 3 NCAA tournaments, including an Elite 8 appearance in 2009. Thanks to the help of All-American Blake Griffin, Duke did not release a timetable for Krzyzewski's return. That is huge in college basketball and huge, obviously, for the Duke Blue Devils. Let's look at college basketball. Let's take a look at the NBA and see what's going on there. From last night, you had these games. James Harden triple-double as the Rockets win by 10 over Washington. Gordon Hayward had 30 last night. The Jazz win by 12 over the Nets. The Bulls win by 7. Jimmy Butler, 52 points and 12 rebounds for the Bulls and win over the Hornets. Bucks, 4-point winners over the Thunder. Magic, 12-point winners over the Knicks. LeBron had 26. Cavaliers beat the Pelicans by 8 last night. Warriors, the defending NBA champions, by 12 over the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers had a 10-point win over Phoenix. Schedule tonight goes like this. It's Minnesota and Philadelphia, the Pacers in Detroit to battle the Pistons, Celtics at home against Utah, the Mavericks hosting Washington, Miami and Phoenix, my Spurs hosting the Toronto Raptors. 50 wins between the two teams tonight. They're playing that one in San Antonio for my Spurs and the Toronto Raptors. And that's a look again at the NBA and college basketball again on this Tuesday, January the 3rd, 2017. Got to get to saying that. High school basketball tonight. Here we go. Let's run down the standings for you in the Big 7 Conference. First off, for the boys, starting conference play on top of the leaderboard, Science Hill at 2-0, Dobbins Hood at 1-0. They'll play that tonight against each other in Johnson City at the Topper Gym. Daniel Boone, Sullivan Central, Crockett all 1-1, the Big 7. Tennessee High 0-1, and Volunteer at 0-2. In the Three Rivers Conference, it's going to be a heck of a conference right here. Elizabethton, Happy Valley at 2-0. Sullivan East and Unicoi County East at 1-0. Unicoi County at 1-1. Sullivan South at 0-1. Johnson County and Sullivan North at 0-2. And the Three Rivers on the boys' side. In the Watauga Valley Conference, Hampton and Cloudland start conference play tonight at 2-0. North Green and South Green at 1-1. University High and Unaka at 0-2 in the Watauga Valley Conference. Here is your schedule tonight. Dobbins Minute at Science Hill, Daniel Boone at Crockett, Tennessee High and Volunteer, Big 7, Sullivan Central, a non-conference game against Tri-Cities Christian at the airport. Golden Eagles hosting the Cougars. In the Three Rivers, Sullivan South at Elizabethton, Sullivan East at Happy Valley, Johnson County, Unicoi County. Also tonight, Kachia, University High, North Green at West Green, and South Green at Granger. Now for the ladies, your standings look like this. In the Big 7, Daniel Boone at 2-0, Tennessee High and Dobbins Hood at 1-0, Science Hill and the Lady Cougars of Central at 1-1, and Volunteer and Crockett's ladies have yet to win in the conference. They're both 0-2. In the Three Rivers Conference, Happy Valley and Elizabethton's ladies both on top at 2-0, Sullivan East and Sullivan South at 1-0, Unicoi County, Johnson County, and Sullivan North all at 0-2 in the Three Rivers tonight. Watauga Valley Conference, Cloudland at 2-0, Hampton's Lady Bulldogs at 2-0, South Green at 1-0, University High at 0-1, and Unaka North Green's ladies at 0-2 in the Watauga Valley Conference for the ladies. Your schedule tonight, Dobbins Minute at Science Hill, Daniel Boone at Crockett, Tennessee High and Volunteer in the Big 7, Sullivan Central's Lady Cougars at Tri-Cities Christian, non-conference game. In Three Rivers play, you've got South at Elizabethton, Sullivan East at Happy Valley, and Johnson County and Irwin against Unicoi County, Kachia at University High, North Green at West Green, and South Green at Granger. And that's your high school basketball schedule for tonight here in the region. And we want to run down the college polls real quick and let you know about those. In the men's top 25 poll for this week, the top 10 is out. Villanova, Baylor, Kansas, UCLA, Gonzaga, Kentucky, West Virginia jumps into the top 10 at number 7. Duke, Louisville, and Creighton all get the rankings. And Creighton rounding out the top 10, the Blue Jays at number 10. So Villanova, Baylor, Kansas, UCLA, Gonzaga, the top 5. Then comes Kentucky, West Virginia, Duke, Louisville, and Creighton. Virginia Tech, the Hokies men's team, cracking the top 25 at number 21 this week. They are 12-1. For the ladies, you look on that side of the fence, and the women's top 25 college basketball poll is out, and it goes as follows. UConn, Baylor, Maryland, Mississippi State, and South Carolina, the top 5 in the women's poll this week. Then comes Florida State, Notre Dame, the Louisville Lady Cardinals, UCLA, and Stanford rounding out the top 10. The Virginia Tech Lady Hokies at number 18. They're 14-0. And then 2 new teams in this week. The ladies from DePaul at number 23, and the ladies from Kansas State cracking the top 25, and that would be at number 25. Tennessee right now still out of the top 25, but ranked 26th this week in the latest women's college basketball poll. So that's what's going on in the hoops again on this Tuesday, January 3rd, 2017. Last night, Elizabethton, 22 points of Michael Robinson, and a non-conference game on a Monday night, defeating Morristown East 59-44. Alex Norwood added 15 for the Cyclones, 11 from Hayden Townsend. Connor Jordan paced East with 16 points in a losing cause. On the other side of the coin, Morristown East beating Elizabethton's ladies 44-41. Haley Burleson led Elizabethton with 11. Montgomery scored 9. And so the split it last night. The ladies win by 3, and the guys led 15 over Morristown East last night in boys high school basketball. So obviously we'll let you know tomorrow about everything going on in college basketball, high school basketball, and the pros coming up again, as we said, tomorrow on the show. We'll be live at Chick-fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Quick break. We'll be right back. It's 11:52. We're live again on this Tuesday at the Tom Taylor Sports Show studio. We thank you for being with us, and we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we've got the National Football League front and center. Oh, we got one in trouble. Got arrested this morning. It ain't good. We'll tell you who it is, and this is not his first time, I might add. So we'll take a quick break, come right back. By the way, on Facebook Live, I don't know if you can see it, get a little closer. I love this hat that Steve gave me, Steve McCauley. Black and red and checkerboard on the bill of the cap, and a big cross says FCA, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Love promoting them. They're one of our great sponsors here on the show. So wearing my coveted FCA ball cap that he gave me right before Christmas, and we appreciate that very much. Quick break. We'll be right back. The National Football League coming up next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, including hearing from Broncos head coach Gary Kubiak here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thank you, sir. And again, Facebook Live, TomTaylorSports.com. Again, Facebook us, as we said, share us and like us. Hold on here just a second. It wet my whistle. Facebook us as you have, and share us and like us, what I wanted to say. So I'm still trying to learn the jargon. But again, share us and like us at Facebook. It's a one-stop shop, TomTaylorSports.com. Thanks to Appalachian Digital. We can't thank them enough for that. And again, if you want them to go to work for you to help build your business via social media, they're a phone call away, or again, a website away at AppalachianDigital.com. And they do a great job. Jeremiah Clark. And I can't thank them enough for what they do for me here on this show. And again, one of our other great sponsors will be there on Thursday. Champion Chevrolet had a record month. Their month actually finishes today, the month of December. Finished on January 3rd, an all-time record December. How about that? Some of the folks there, Ron Dunn and Bob Bays and Jay Hayes and David Palmer and Kristen Martin and Cletus Green and Lloyd Flint. Cletus sales manager, by the way. A big fan of the show. Andy Dietrich, Tim Covenant, the co-owners, great folks. Mike Cole, the pre-owned manager. Chris McCall, the finance manager. Stephanie Broadwater does internet sales. So great bunch of folks getting a Champion Chevrolet. And they, again, are marking stuff down and moving it out. And again, they have pre-owned vehicles ready to go. Silverados, Nissans, Buicks, Honda CRVs, Nissan Frontier, Chevrolet Cruiser Camrys. They've got them in stock, ready to go. Again, at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City, one of our great sponsors here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So thanks again to Champion Chevrolet. We'll be there on Thursday. Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, live at the Tom Taylor Sports Show studio, again on this Tuesday, January the 3rd, 2017. Good morning and good afternoon. Ken, thank you enough for being part of the show. We continue to grow by leaps and bounds, and we thank Jesus for that. He's got control of this show, much like Duck Dynasty. In fact, I sit down over the holiday and sit down and watched some of Season 9 and some of Season 10 of Duck Dynasty. You ever watch that show? All right, what's your take on it? Some folks say it's all choreographed and it's all made up and it's all scripted, and I just don't. I've watched it. I mean, I've watched all 9 seasons, getting ready to watch some of the 10th season this week. I just don't see how that can be all scripted, especially with Cy. Cy is just... Exactly. No. No. And they say, you know, I've never been down. They say if you go down to Monroe and if they're there, I mean, you can go in and sit down. I mean, there's probably some limitations, but you can kind of rub elbows with them and shake their hand. They're pretty. What's the word? Accessible. Yeah, accessible. So. Oh, yeah. So the patriarch, Phil, says, this is their last season, by the way. He says that, you know, the show Duck Dynasty is going to go as far as the good Lord wants it to go, and look what it's done. If you see the picture of their homes, them old boys done good making duck calls, I can tell you that. So, wow. That one Jace is built with a putting green in the backyard and a swimming pool and a fountain. I'm not into all that, but it shows you that hard work pays off, and so... I'm probably more like Sam Walton. I'd still drive an old beat-up red pickup truck, even if I was a multi-billionaire 4 times over. Just, yeah, it's just the way I am. I mean, I'm not out to trust anybody, and I don't know if they are, but they're just living comfortably, I guess. However they want to live, it's their money. But I know they give away a lot to charity too. So, anyway, point to all this is Duck Dynasty. That show took off because the good Lord put His hand on it, and this show's taken off because He put His hand on it, and that's how it's going to be, and He gets the credit for it. We're just kind of in here flapping our jaws every day and let Him. Yeah, there you go. So, anyway, let's see what's going on in the National Football League. Championship music, here we go. Let's crank it up again and let's see what's going on. We got a man in trouble, the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been there before, unfortunately. Bengals quarterback Adam Pac-Man Jones arrested early this morning in Hamilton County, Ohio for 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 misdemeanors and a felony. Ruh-roh. The misdemeanors: assault, that's not good, disorderly conduct, nope, and obstructing official business, that may get you. Took place in the Central Business District, while the felony came later at the Justice Center for harassment of a member of the medical staff with a bodily substance. According to the criminal report, Adam Jones accused of assaulting a man by pushing and poking him in the eye early this morning. Cincinnati police wrote in other criminal complaints that he engaged in turbulent behavior. Ben Foy, from a policeman's definition, how would you define, I think I know what it is, what would you describe as or define as turbulent behavior? Uh-huh. Well... Yeah, refused to stop when ordered to and pulled away from officers. He is accused, you nailed it, of kicking, headbutting, and refusing to enter a police car. He'd be encouraged to get in. Once Jones at the jail, he was charged with harassment with bodily substance for spitting on a nurse on the jail medical staff. Oh, yeah, this guy's class. So, Pac-Man Jones, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, anyway... judge set his bond at $37,500 for Pac-Man Jones. I'm sure he's got money to get out. The kind of money he makes. He just signed a 3-year, $22 million deal back in March. Bengals could not be reached for comment. Began his career with the Tigers number 6 pick. He was suspended for the 2007 season for violation of the NFL player conduct policy. Missed the whole season. Traded the Cowboys before 2008. By October, he was suspended again, this time for 6 games there. Released in 2009, didn't play during the 2009 season. Signed with the Bengals in May of 2010. He's been in Cincinnati ever since. And for the first time in his NFL career, started all 16 games this season. Is that not an interesting stat? He's been in the NFL for the first time ever. He played and started in all 16 games. There you go. Now, unlike Joe Mixon of Oklahoma, where, he's catching a lot of flack for punching this lady in the face, and I get all that, and he shouldn't have played, and I understand folks saying he shouldn't have played, but now this guy, he lives by the old, he reinforces what I've always heard, that a leopard never loses its spots. Listen to the track record again. Missed the whole 2007 season for NFL player conduct policy. The National Football League, to miss a whole season because of your conduct, that's got to be pretty down and dirty. Traded the Cowboys for 2008. By October of that season, he was suspended again, this time for 6 games. Didn't play in the 2009 season at all. Signed with the Bengals in 2010. Has been there ever since. And so anyway, Pac-Man Jones arrested this morning for 3 misdemeanors, including kicking, headbutting, and refusing to enter a police car. I don't think it's very smart to headbutt a police officer. Something just doesn't make sense of that. Yeah. Well, it's pretty stupid, too, to headbutt a police officer, I would think. It's not the brightest bulb in the box. So, anyway, of course, I don't know if he was on something or under the influence of something, and then he spit on so that's what got me. Spit on the nurse and on the jail medical staff. Was probably just checking him out like she's supposed to, and so he just decides he's going to spit on her. So, that's the one that set me right there. Yeah. No, tell me about it. There you go. Fell off the curb. There you have it. It's like this report said, old Pac-Man had some turbulent behavior. So I guarantee you, my buddy used to be a cop up in West Virginia that had a little thing called the Persuader. I guarantee you that it was used on old Pac-Man to persuade him to get in the police car and shut up and sit down, or sit down and shut up. So there you go. It's all in the approach, all in the perception. There you go. So anyway, Pac-Man's in trouble. I hope he gets his life squared away, but apparently it looks like he's a repeat offender in some of his troubles. What else going on in the NFL? Ben's got another story coming up here in a second. Buffalo Bills general manager Doug Whaley told reporters that he was not privy to the details from the team's ownership regarding head coach Rex Ryan getting fired last month. This guy's the general manager of the team, and he's not told that they're getting ready to fire his coach. He added that team owners Terry and Kim Pagula did not ask for his input. Doug, go down the hall, go do something, shuffle some papers. We got this. As a manager, makes you want to get up and go to work tomorrow, doesn't it? There you go. What we have here is failure to communicate. It's pretty good. Hit the bell. So anyway, this general manager of the Buffalo Bills, Doug Whaley, says, I didn't know anything about it. And so I watched his press conference yesterday. They continue to press him. He said, I'm telling you guys, I didn't know anything about it. Whaley added the team owners did not ask for his input before the Bills decided to let him go, he being Rex Ryan, before the team's regular season finale. I was told by my boss that I will no longer be working with Rex Ryan. That's how I found out. So Whaley told reporters Ryan, who went 15-16 in Buffalo, had asked to speak to ownership privately. Then the GM was informed of the decision after the meeting. Whaley went on to say that he assumed no responsibility in Ryan's hiring in February of 2015. He added that he hasn't even thought about if he agreed or disagreed with the former head coach's firing. So there you go. Anthony, yeah. So this guy has no respect by his ownership. And I don't know how sharp he is or how slow he is, but I'd look in the mirror and say, Doug, if I was Doug, I'd look in the mirror and say, Doug, we better update our resume. I don't think they like us here because they don't even tell us anything going on. So, and they're going to make decisions without me, and I'm the general manager. So there you go. And so he's gone. We're going to hear from Gary Kubiak coming up here in just a second for the Denver Broncos, who's stepping away from medical issues. The head coach of the Broncos, he's not coming back. Kelly got fired. Chip Kelly gone as the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, while public opinion has soured on him after his past 2 years as a head coach at Philadelphia and now San Francisco, he is still very much respected by his colleagues around the league. When the Eagles fired Kelly last year, Patriots coach Bill Belichick stuck up for Kelly, saying he would do a great job wherever he landed. Obviously, they didn't have it in San Francisco. So this November, Belichick talked about how the Patriots used some of his ideas. Some of his X's and O's we used because of his talent and as a coach in the National Football League. Also, Seahawks coach Pete Carroll is a fan. So he says that he's an extremely successful coach. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's been at the top of the game when he's had his opportunity. He's shown it in the National Football League and in college and all that. Carroll goes on to say, I don't know him very well. I admired the work he's done, the innovations he's brought to the game, the impact he's had on the game. Kelly says he's already looking around to possibly being a coordinator on a team for the National Football League. So Chip Kelly's gone in San Francisco. If the Saints decide to trade Sean Payton this offseason, the coach, it will be against his wishes. The 53-year-old coach said yesterday he definitely wants to come back for his 12th season with the New Orleans Saints. During his video show in New Orleans, Payton was asked about his future, and for once he gave a definitive answer. He says, quote, my plan is to definitely be back here. And shoot, I've got 4 more years on the contract. I plan on honoring that. Payton was then asked if the Saints were the only team that he's interested in coaching next year. He says, yes, absolutely. So we'll see. If Payton wants to stay in New Orleans, the choice may not be his. There's still a possibility that the Saints would consider trading Payton to the LA Rams. Trading coaches. The Rams, who will be opening a new stadium in 2019, are looking to make a home run hire, and Payton would fit that description. Of course, they fired Jeff Fisher late in the season in Los Angeles. So Payton was asked about the possibility of a trade to the Rams during a conference call yesterday, decided to sidestep the question. All right. So we'll see. Sean Payton for now says he wants to stay in New Orleans, and right now he is in New Orleans, of the New Orleans Saints. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Here is Denver Bronco head coach Gary Kubiak. His announcement that he is stepping away from the game was an emotional statement he made, and here is Kubiak saying he is no longer the head coach of the Denver Broncos. There you go. That's Gary Kubiak, the head coach of the Denver Broncos, stepping away from the program. in Denver. So, interesting story. So, pretty emotional being for you. You could hear him talking and coming to his voice that, something he didn't want to do. Been around the game for many, many years, college and pro, as a player, now as a coach, and as an assistant coach at one point. So, pretty tough to wake up and realize you can't do what you once could do. All of us have to go through that. Some already have, some will. A lot of us will realize that what we once could do, we can't. And it's pretty tough, There you go. So we've got a breaking story. Here we go. It's good stuff. Lane Kiffin is not going away, literally. Wow. Here's the very latest coming to us again here on the Tom 30 Sports Show. I want to pass it on to you. Well, Lane Kiffin still help Alabama get ready for Clemson in the College Football National Championship game. That was the ongoing offensive coordinator's overwhelming sentiment this morning at a press conference. Comes one day after Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide announcing Kiffin will focus on his head coaching job at Florida Atlantic, while his former colleague, Steve Sarkisian, will assume the play calling duties for the national title game. Kiffin said during the interview that he and Alabama are checking to see if he's allowed to be involved with the team's game day game plan, essentially flip-flopping roles with Sarkisian, who spent the season in the press box as an offensive analyst. He wants to be in the press box while Sarkisian's down on the field. We don't know legally whether we can do this, Kiffin says. Sidelines for sure would not, but the press box would be ideal because that would exchange Sark and I and his role, what it was and then, and what my role is now. Then he can come down to the field and coach the players. Kiffin was also adamant that Saban did not force him into this decision to give up his seat as the Tide's offensive coordinator 1 week before the national championship game. He says, quote, and very defiant, if I want to coach this game, I want to coach this game. I just thought it was the best thing for the players. I saw Kirby Smart struggle with it a year ago, and I don't know if that's why we didn't play very good in the same game on defense, but I didn't want to have that feeling that we lost the game because I wasn't 100% focused. I couldn't live with that, and for these kids and how hard they worked to get to this point. Now, is this a sideshow? Is this a bunch of smoke and mirrors? Or is this legitimate? What do you think, Ben Foy? And why would you say that? Based on what? Exactly. He stepped away, allegedly stepped away, so he could be more focused on Florida Atlantic. Now he wants to come back and be in the press box. And let Sarkisian, who was in the press box, he couldn't go down on the field because he was an analyst. So now that Kiffin's gone, they've elevated this guy to the offensive coordinator. Now he can be on the sidelines. Kiffin says, hey, that's good. I'll just come back and be up in the press box. I'll just keep right on going with Sark, as they calls him, Sarkisian, and we'll just go ahead and coach this football team on Monday night. So now he is also adamant that Saban did not force him into this decision to give up his seat as the Tide's offensive coordinator. If I want to coach this game, I would coach this game. He said he stepped away what he thought was best for the players. Well, why does he think coming back now being in the press box is going to be best for the players? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and why is he coming out today? See, to me, this is damage control. Either damage control for him, probably more so than Alabama. So he's out here because, his reputation, if you'll remember, Houston wouldn't touch the guy. Said he was not a mature hire 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when all this was coming down. So, I don't know. It's just very, very interesting. So the storyline is he's the offensive coordinator. He announces he has been picked as the head football coach at Florida Atlantic, but comes out and says, I'm going to stay as the offensive coordinator, going to fulfill my commitment through the end of the season, whenever that is. Well, now we know it's the national championship game on Monday night. I will coach during the day Alabama and put together a staff and do recruiting at nighttime for Florida Atlantic. Okay, everything's hunky-dory with that. They go out and do a lackluster 24-7 win. Offense was not clicking. It was very obvious. 24-7 win over Washington. Then everything changes. He comes back out and says, well, I believe I just better going down to Florida Atlantic and focus more on them and not so much on Alabama so I can get ready for the season as the head coach of Florida Atlantic. Okay, we got that. He's already hired his brother as the defensive coordinator. He hired the guy from Florida State, DeAndre Johnson, as his quarterback. So he's making some moves, getting things set up. So, man, he comes back after Saturday's game and he's going to step away. Yeah, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go on down and be a Florida Atlantic. Yes. Well, I don't know. It's ego or something. Now he's come back today and says, hey, I want to still be in the press box. I won't coach him. I'll just be up in the press box and let Sarkisian coach him down on the field. Now, he's the offensive coordinator, but I'll come back and be in the press box. We don't know legally whether we can do that, Kiffin says. I'm telling you right now, somewhere in Tuscaloosa, Nick Saban is jacked up. And because he's already violated protocol number 1. You as an assistant coach do not talk to the media if you're an Alabama assistant coach. And they went, and in Kiffin's defense, to a point, of course, he could have said, I'm not going to comment on that, but they waited till he was named the Florida Atlantic coach and said, hey, oh, by the way, tell us about how it was coaching for Nick. How was it hanging out with Nick? All those butt chewings you took. Yeah, there you go. And he could have just said, hey, no comment, but he didn't. He fired the shot and said, all I remember is the butt chewings. That's all I can remember. And then he said, 3 years felt like 21 in Tuscaloosa. So now he's come back, wanting to know if he can be in the press box. Oh yeah. So, and somewhere in Clemson, South Carolina, Dabo Swinney and the boys are going, go Lane Kiffin. You rock, buddy. You stir that pot and get them all distracted in Tuscaloosa. They can't focus on us because we're a pretty good football team. We hammered Ohio State. And there again, I'm going to go back on my soapbox, and the point was proven. Ohio State had no business being in that playoff game. None. Penn State lost. I got that. Okay, Southern Cal, doesn't make any difference. If they got wiped off the field by Southern Cal, Penn State should have been in that ball game against Clemson. Would they have done any better? Well, who would have known? Exactly. Now, would have Penn State done any better? Does not matter. They could have got beat 150 to nothing. As far as I'm concerned, they deserve to be in that bowl game and that playoff game in the Fiesta Bowl against Clemson. Ohio State did not even win their division. They didn't even win the conference. They didn't even win the Big Ten championship. And money talks. And so I think how would you say this? The fact that Urban Meyer is who he is, in some cases larger than life in a lot of places, and his head coach status at Ohio State, I think in large part got him and the Buckeyes a chance to play. And Penn State got snubbed. And Penn State, granted they lost, but a great representation. And Ohio State just flat out got hammered, got handed to them. So, So now there's rumblings. Every time Urban loses, he wants to take a medical leave of absence or needs to take a leave of absence. So now the buzz is, whether Meyer's going to step away from the Ohio State program. I don't see him doing that, but I mean, you talking about a team that wasn't ready to go, 31-0. I mean, Clemson beat them like a junkyard dog. It was pitiful. So, and again, I have friends and relatives that live in Ohio and are big Ohio State Buckeye fans. Doesn't matter whether you're a Buckeye fan or not. No business being in that game. In fact, you should have been in the Rose Bowl against Southern Cal, and Penn State should have been in the game. But they didn't ask me sitting there in East Tennessee. They did say, would you take a break and play some commercials? I said, I can do that. Yes, I can. And that's what we're going to do. 12:19, we'll take a break, come right back. Got a story on Jason Witten rewriting the Dallas Cowboy record books from Elizabethton, Tennessee, here in our neck of the woods. We'll hear about big old number 82 next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show and also on Facebook Live. Facebook Live, folks, thank you again. I know I want to keep hammering it, and I can't thank you enough to like the show and then share the show and share the link, if you would, please. And you have been, and thank you very much. I think what's very cool for me is there's a lot of females out there that are liking the show, and I appreciate that very much. You always think of a sports show, it's primarily a guy-driven show. Okay, but the statistics that I'm getting from Appalachian Digital, and I'm hearing from Mr. Clark, Mr. Jeremiah Clark, that, there are a lot of ladies, and of course the feedback on Facebook Live on the screen, there's ladies that are responding to the show, and I appreciate that very much. So anyway, Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Facebook Live. Again, go to TomTaylorSports.com, that one-stop shop, and click on the Facebook Live button and watch us here on the show on Facebook. You can click on another button, listen to us live on WETB AM 790, the home of some great music in the morning with our buddy Ben Foy, and also some great teaching throughout the day and music in the evening, so on AM 790. So again, great way to check everything out, a one-stop shop, TomTaylorSports.com, and we appreciate that very much. We'll come back, talk NFL playoffs, and Jason Witten coming up here in a few minutes here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. My dear friend Greg Taylor and his lovely bride Dina and the youngins, I had a chance to run into them at the candlelight service. Christ Fellowship Church were there on Christmas Eve with a lot of folks. Place was packed. And so Greg the priest doing a wonderful job and a lot of great music there at Christ Fellowship. So had a good time there. Ben, have you ever been to the Comedy Barn? I'm going to give it a plug down in Pigeon Forge. You ever been there? Oh, man. Oh, man. Funny. Bring people up out of the audience. Make them look like stooges. You go to the website, check them out. Comedy Barn. They've got some of the segments are on YouTube. You can go there too and see some of the segments of some of the folks that bring up out of the crowd for audience participation. And they got a guy that puts ping pong balls in his mouth and spits them at people and bounces off pieces of plexiglass. And they got birds. They call them country chickens. I think what they call them, but they're actually, I guess they're parrots. I mean, they had him doing a moonwalk and on top of basketball, going across the table, rolling the basketball, and just, I mean, really, really talented and funny and telling some jokes, some clean jokes, some good stuff. Probably could. I could see if that could happen. I can certainly put in a good word for you. Put me down as a reference. It's a funny show. So, and then we stopped at the Chocolate Monkey coming home on New Year's Eve and threw down some chocolate. If you're a chocoholic, it's a good place to go. And I'll give them a free plug, but down beside the Tanger Outlet in Pigeon Forge, the Chocolate Monkey. So there you go. So we had a good time there on New Year's Eve. And where were you New Year's Eve? How'd you ring in the new year? Were you awake? Is that in Colonial Heights? At the dam? It'd be Woodstone Deli? Yeah, Woodstone Deli. That's a good place. Man, make a mean turkey sandwich. I know that. Whoo. Yeah, I was in there, going there sometimes during lunch hour. I used to before I started the show and throw down a smoked turkey. Pretty good. That's pretty good stuff there. So at the old Woodstone Deli. They play darts here too, don't they? Yeah. See, haven't heard anything from Lady for a while up there at the Apester at Bracken Paving. We were supposed to have a dart match, if you remember that, back. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's kind of went with the boards. She's kind of went AWOL. I haven't heard anything from her. We have. Oh, well, she's checking to play me. I mean, there's no gauntlet to it. She don't want to play me in darts because she knows I'm going to mop her up. So she says, well, I'm not very good at darts. She said she'd play. Of course, that's been, 4 years ago now, it seems like. So, anyway, hello to the Apester and all the kids at Bracken Paving. But I think Woodstone, I think that's a place you can throw darts in there, can't you? Yeah. So, are you any good at darts, by the way? Okay. Yeah. Now, I owed you a lunch. I got you covered last week at Chick-fil-A. Is that correct? All right. So we're square, as they say. All right. Squared up. Thank you. All right. Hip to be square. Got you. 12:24. What's going on with the Cowboys this season? Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott have set several team. Well, veteran tight end Jason Witten out of Elizabethton, who's about to rewrite the Cowboys record books. Witten needs just 17 yards to break Michael Irvin's team record of 11,904 career receiving yards. Witten, who's 34 years old, has 69 catches for 673 yards so far this season, giving him 1,088 catches for 11,878 yards in his 14-year career. The guy's caught 1,008 passes. No, and he broke Irvin's Cowboy record for career catches 4 years ago. With 1,000 catches and 10,000 yards under his belt, Jason Witten joins Tony Gonzalez as the only other tight end ever in the history of the National Football League to reach both milestones. Witten passed former teammate Terrell Owens on the NFL's career catches list 2 weeks ago, and so needs just 7 more catches, and he's not there yet, to pass Tim Brown for 6th place. Hopefully he'll get that this weekend or next weekend when they play. Witten broke 2 other Dallas team records this season. For most career starts at 203, he passes Ed Too Tall Jones of the Cowboys for career starts, and Leroy Jordan's for consecutive starts at 154. So Jason Witten from Elizabeth and making us proud. This guy is a class act. And so continues to rewrite the record books not only in the National Football League, or the Dallas Cowboys, I should say, but also for the NFL, or NFL and the Cowboys. So congratulations to Jason, and hopefully he'll just keep it on. Speaking of the playoffs, breaking story here this afternoon, the Raiders are going to start Connor Cook. You know, this guy's a pretty good quarterback. He didn't have a chance, got thrown to the Wolves on Sunday. He did the best he could, but I think with a week in the system and a chance for him to show his talents, he's a big guy, got a rocket or a cannon for an arm. The number 3 quarterback, Connor Cook, out of Michigan State. Looks like he will start in Saturday's wild card matchup at Houston. Now look how things change when Derek Carr goes down in Oakland. They lose on Sunday, and they go from the number 2 seed to the number 5 seed from a home field game 2 weeks from this past Sunday to playing this Saturday in the wild card game. So the Raiders are down to the number 3 quarterback, Connor Cook. It looks like he'll start in Saturday's wild card matchup against Houston. Good news, the Texans' quarterback situation isn't much better. They will start backup Tom Savage, who suffered a concussion in the regular season finale, or Brock Osweiler, who was benched late last month for not being very good. So the Raiders are moving forward with the expectation that Cook will be under center this week. And so Matt McGloin suffered a shoulder injury in last Sunday's loss to the Broncos. Officially, the Raiders remain non-committal. Jack Del Rio says, we'll see how the week goes. Between Connor and Matt, we'll see who can get the most reps, who we feel the most comfortable going with into this game. Derek Carr, third-year quarterback, who was having an MVP caliber season where he broke his leg in week number 16. Del Rio says, quote, I thought Connor was pretty solid. He finished 14 out of 21 for 150 yards and a touchdown and 2 turnovers. I thought he handled himself pretty well. Ball security issues. The defense is pretty good over in Denver. And I thought overall we did a pretty solid job for a tough set of circumstances. Connor, a rookie out of Michigan State, added, I'm going to do what I've been doing all year. When I was inactive, I was still watching film and still studying the game plan and going over everything, my reads, my hots, all that. It's not going to change anything for me. I'm still going to prep as if I'm playing. It doesn't matter if I'm backup, starter, or whatever. I just want to play. I want the Raiders to win. How about that? So do I, Connor. That's it. He says, give me a chance. I'm still preparing like I was. I'm still watching film. I'm checking the hot routes and the hot spots in the game, my reads, all that to get ready for the ball game. And he says again, I'm still going to prep as if I'm playing. It doesn't matter if I'm backup, a starter, or whatever. I'm a member of the Oakland Raiders, and I want us to win and we'll move into the next round of the playoffs. That's all you can ask for. You're exactly right. Yeah, the Texans aren't exactly world beaters. They beat them early in the season in Mexico, if you remember. Raiders went down and gave them a good butt thumping. So Raiders at 12-4 will take on Houston in the wild card game on Saturday in Houston at 9-7. 4:35 kickoff. The night game in the NFC has Detroit at 9-6 at Seattle with a record of 10-5-1. That's the 8:15 game on Saturday night. On Sunday, boy, you talking about some interesting scenarios at the Smith House, American Import Auto Repair. Tim Smith at 10-6 is a diehard Dolphins fan. 10-6. His lovely bride Kim loves the Steelers, that's who they're going to be playing at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, who's 11-5. Miami 10-6, Pittsburgh 11-5. Tim's already said, I don't think we're going to win. He said the Steelers are playing some really good football. So is it going to be good if they do win? He said, no, no, it's not going to be. I said, if your team wins, he said, nah, no, it's not going to be good. So I said, you'd rather just kind of concede? He said, well, I don't know if I'm going to concede, but things will probably be better if the Steelers if the Steelers won. So I don't know. That may be good food for thought. I don't know that. That's interesting. So that's Sunday early game at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Dolphins in Pittsburgh, and then on the second game on Sunday in the NFC, the Giants at 11-5 will be in Green Bay at Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. So Saturday's games, I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Seattle on Saturday night, but Sunday in Pittsburgh, it's going to be 12 here Saturday night. You can pretty well figure what's going to be in Pittsburgh, I would think, on Sunday afternoon for the football game. And then Green Bay and Lambeau Field, I have to think, because that's where the Arctic front's coming from, out of that area coming across, of course, the Northwest and the Midwest coming down our way. So I would think the two Sunday games, the weather will play a factor in Pittsburgh with the Dolphins and in Green Bay with the New York Giants. So we'll see. But that's what's going on. For Tim to wear? Yeah. I think I know Tim well enough. He would wear it and wear it with pride. So, oh, yes. So I think he would. Hey, it's the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We'll take a quick break. Got more to talk about. Got the national league. Got that to visit on. Also got some other sports news to talk about. So we are inside of about 28 minutes left to the top of the hour. We have Charles Stanley, the In Touch program, and Charles Stanley with a brand new year and brand new set of sermons and messages. After Charles Stanley, we haven't done this for a while. Ben Foy, after Charles Stanley, give us the rest of the day lineup on WETV, would you please? So for folks out there who don't know, kind of give us a thumbnail description of Wall Builders and the Eric Metaxas show, would you please? Interesting. Good stuff. And so you get started with Charles Stanley. Then tonight you get music. Is the Christmas music over? There you go. So, and as I've said many times before in here preparing for the show, and late in the evenings, I flip it on and use it as background music, and it's awesome. Very, very relaxing. Very simple. And then, of course, in the mornings, our buddy Ben, who is our producer extraordinaire, does a heck of a job. Of course, we roll in the mornings from 6 until 9 o'clock with information and music and bluegrass and gospel. And then at 9 o'clock, the country store. What'd you have again? How many did you have today? I said country store. I'm sorry. General store. 50 callers today. Wow. Okay, where's that going to be, in Pittsburgh? All right, I'm going to pull up Green Bay, Wisconsin right now and see what it's going to be at Lambeau Field on Sunday, because I guarantee you it's going to be cold there in Green Bay. So, no, they're going to bundle up. It won't matter, but it's going to be cold nonetheless. I can promise you that. So let's go Green Bay. It's Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us here again on this Tuesday. And let's see. Let's hit Green Bay, Wisconsin. There we go. Let's see. Let's see what we got for Sunday. No, for Saturday. Are you ready? Saturday, Lambeau Field, Green Bay, sunshine, 11 degrees. That's daytime temperature. Oh, yeah. And 0 at night. So there you go. 11 degrees when they take the field, the Giants and the Packers, on Saturday. Are they playing Saturday or Sunday? What do you think? I'm wrong. They play on Sunday, so it went from 11 to 18 on Sunday. So 7 degrees. It's a game time temperature, partly sunny and 18 on Sunday at Lambeau Field in Wisconsin, of course, for Green Bay. Now, did you try Pittsburgh? Let's do Pittsburgh real quick here. This is the beauty of being where I can get to the computer. Pittsburgh, PA, US. Let's see what they're going to be. They're playing Saturday. You already checked it? And yep, partly sunny and cold in the low to mid 20s on Saturday for the game. So there you go. And they're calling for an inch of snow there on Thursday, and I don't think it's going to go away. So there should be snow on the ground at Heinz Field for the Steelers and the Dolphins. Can you imagine getting on a plane in Miami, 70 and 80 degrees, and Pittsburgh? We come off the plane, it's snow and 25, 24 degrees. Wouldn't that be? There you go. That's it. In a tank top, in a Hawaiian shirt. Excuse me. There you go. Flip flops and a Hawaiian shirt coming off the plane from Miami, rolling into Pittsburgh to battle the Steelers in Heinz Field. Whoo! They can have that, folks. No, that's exactly right. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Love being here. We'll take a quick break. Come right back. We will again bring you up to speed on the National Hockey League, what's going on there for tonight and from yesterday, and also some other college news, both or sports news, I should say, on the college front as well as the local front and the professional front as well. So come back with us. We're live here again in studio. Tomorrow we'll be live at Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City. Thursday will be at Champion Chevrolet. And also Friday we're due to be at a next stop at Food City. And so we'll find out where we're supposed to be for Friday's show for our latest stop at Food City as we roll into the new year 2017. Quick break. We'll be right back. It's the Tom Taylor Sports Show again on AM 790 WETB and also on Facebook Live. Yeah. Says the forecast is supposed to start raining here for the next 2 hours in Johnson City. So, yeah. So 61 today, 49 tomorrow, 41 Thursday, 33 Friday. So, again, folks, I want to remind you again with your vehicles, if you're in the Tri-Cities, wherever you may be watching, particularly in cold weather states. I know we got folks watching down in Florida, probably not so much down there, but from here up into the north, northeast, northwest, be sure and check your antifreeze. As a general rule of thumb, clean, flush, and put new antifreeze in the cooling system every 2 years. Check your battery in the charging system. Cold weather will knock a battery out in a heartbeat, especially if it's right there on the bubble, whether it's going to go or not. Cold weather will push it on over. Of course, an American Import and Auto Repair here locally, our great sponsor. They sell American-made AC Delco batteries. AC, American-made, not from Xing Shang Shu or wherever they get these other batteries. These are made by Americans, put them together with quality craftsmanship. So, AC Delco batteries from American Import and Auto Repair here in Johnson City. Be sure and check your oil. Make sure don't drive with dirty oil in cold weather. It's tough on your vehicle. So, those are some of the winter weather tips, again, you want to consider hearing from and doing with for my good friends American Import and Auto Repair. So we thank you for that. And don't forget to share us and like us on Facebook at TomTaylorSports.com. Yes, they do. They do a great job. So, okay. What's our show time? 22? Yep. Okay, that's what I got. Food City, one of our great sponsors here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Love was there last night, loaded up on some goodies, and got me another gas visit where you get 150 points, knock 15 cents off per gallon of gas for your vehicle, which can't beat that. So a lot of different reasons. And don't forget School Bucks. You can go in there with your Food City Value card, as you heard it say, Food City Value. And again, sign up for the school of your choice. Now, if you have a couple little people that go to different schools, that's okay. You can go, if you want to, you can do it at 6 months at a time. You can go for 3 or 4 months or 5 months and have the code on your Food City Value card. There's a book of schools all across the 106 store chain of Food City. And so you go in there with the code of the particular school you want to support. And every time you make a purchase, they get points at your school. And at the end of the year, again, money has been accrued. Points are being accrued, and money will be distributed via the School Bucks checks by the store managers to the particular schools. They can use that money any way they want to once they get from the schools and from Food City. You're talking the schools have gotten checks anywhere from $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to use as needed. So, and then if you have, as we said, a couple of folks, you can split flop and say, okay, for the first 3 or 4 months, I want to go to this youngster, this grandson or daughter, whatever the case may be, and she goes or they go to this school, and you can switch it out. It's very easy to do. They can do it at any register at any Food City. So School Bucks is the way to go, folks. They do a great job, and again, putting money back into the school systems across 4 states in the 100-store chain of Food City here in Tennessee, Virginia, of course, Georgia now, and also in Kentucky, Food Cities. National Hockey League, let's see what happened last night on the ice. They had had a full house, over 46,000 watching the Winter Classic in St. Louis. They played it outdoors at Busch Stadium in 46-degree weather. Not exactly hockey weather, but fun one nonetheless. The St. Louis Blues skating past the Chicago Blackhawks 4-1, and again in the National Hockey League Winter Classic. Also, you had the Devils skating past the Bruins 3-0 in the National Hockey League. Tonight in Nashville, one of the better teams coming to town, the Canadiens of Montreal at 22-9-6, taking on the Predators 16-14-6. Also tonight on the ice, Toronto skates in Washington, the Oilers in Columbus to skate against the Blue Jackets, LA skates in San Jose, Winnipeg in Tampa Bay, and New Jersey skates in the lineup. So that's your National Hockey League schedule for this Tuesday, January the 3rd, 2017. Ben, is it hard for you to get used to saying 2017? We got some NASCAR news coming up here in just a second. Major League Baseball, let's take a look here. Curt Schilling. This guy is saying, hey, I'm not being put in the Hall of Fame because of my political stance. Whether you agree with him or not, that's what he says. On the mound, Curt Schilling was undeniably a great pitcher, one of the best postseason performers in the history of baseball. At a minimum, his playing career deserves serious consideration from Hall of Fame voters. In a recent interview, Schilling said he believes his support of President-elect Donald Trump is one reason he's losing Hall of Fame support. Also, I think that may be a little bit of it, but Curt, buddy, also several weeks ago, he shared an image on Twitter that says supporting lynching journalists. Now, that might do it there, Curt. Come on now. It ain't got nothing to do with Trump. Let's cut it the way it's cut it now. You're out there you say let's lynch the folks that you're asking to vote for you. Hello? How to Win Friends and Influence People by the late Dale Carnegie. So, Schilling last year lost his television job as a baseball analyst partly because he was sharing offensive posts on social media. So, several Hall of Fame voters have made it clear that Schilling's support of lynching journalists have in fact cost him their support. So, there you go. So, Schilling's trying to get into the Hall of Fame, and, the Baseball Hall of Fame writers are saying, no, wait a minute, this guy, he's been in trouble, and he's telling us how to lynch journalists. And, in fact, Schilling said, voters are not hiding the fact they stopped voting for me because of the things I've said on social media. That's their prerogative as voters. They're not going to vote for me because of the character clause. They are some of the worst human beings I've ever known voting. They are scumbags. Curt, buddy, tell me how you really feel. Come on now. These are the Hall of Fame voters. He says they're scumbags. There you go. Hit the bell. That's good. That's Curt Schilling. So, Curt, we need to set you down a little less than a PR. I think you think you're bigger than life. I mean, the guy should be in the Hall of Fame. He had some phenomenal numbers, at least being considered. But when you're coming out and just saying these kind of things, nah, I don't. Unless he comes out with a big apology, and I'm not sure that's going to change it. But anyway, Curt's mad at the media and blaming on the fact he's following Donald Trump. Nah, I don't think that's it. I think when you're out. There you go. That's exactly right. So, anyway, and here's the thing: the guy was a phenomenal performer on the field. It'll be a crying shame that he does not get in the Hall of Fame because of this, and it'll be his own fault because he can't keep his trap shut. So, now some of the stuff he talked about, I agree with. Some of the things he said over the years in Major League Baseball, just talking about the game itself and different things, not necessarily those issues recently, but he's always been outspoken about the game of baseball and how they're behind other sports, so on and so forth. And some of that I agree with. But to come out and say we ought to lynch the journalists that are trying to vote him in, yeah. So, yeah, go ahead. Hand me the clippers. Let's go ahead and snip that wire right now. He's, yeah, I think he's in trouble as far as a Hall of Fame nominee. Now, a young man out of Southwest Virginia, Billy Wagner, who learned to throw left-handed after breaking his right arm as a child, which is pretty cool. Not that he broke his arm, but the fact that he can adapt, and said, okay, my right arm's broke, I'll learn to throw left-handed. Well, he did. For 16 big league seasons from 1995 to 2010, was a reliever the entire time. He made 0 starts, never started a game. Wagner in relief spent most of his career with Houston before moving on to the Phillies, the Mets, the Red Sox, and the Braves. 422 saves, that's 6th all-time currently, a 2.31 ERA. And so in 16 seasons, Billy Wagner was a 7-time All-Star who twice received Cy Young votes in 99 and 2006. Also was on the MVP ballot twice in 1999 and 2003. 4th in the Cy Young voting in 1999 after saving 39 games that season. So he is 6th all-time in some of those categories. So Wilhelm and Goose Gossage are in the Hall of Fame. Hoyt Wilhelm we're talking about. It's also on this list of 6th all-time in WAR, WAR. Revere will be there one day. Trevor Hoffman seems likely to get in at some point. So Lee Smith is on the ballot for the 15th and final time this year and will not receive the 75% needed for induction. So Wagner, again, trying to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame, has got some pretty good numbers to put up against it. Oh, by the way, I don't see him talking about lynching journalists or anything like that. So Billy Wagner may have a chance to make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame. One more baseball note. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think he should too. And, you take a guy that was right-handed as a kid, broke his arm, said, okay, I will adapt, and started throwing left-hand, and to the point where he was right-handed by the way he was born, of course, but made the change because he had to, retiring with 422 saves, 6th all-time for a guy that threw right-handed but learned to throw left-hand because of a setback. It's pretty impressive. Very impressive. Last but not least, in Major League Baseball, the hottest trade rumor since Chris Sale being dealt to the Red Sox has been the Brian Dozier, the Twins being on the move, notably connected to the Dodgers. Cardinals are interested too. Dozier with Twins, 29 years old, 35 doubles, 5 triples, 42 home runs, 99 RBIs, 104 runs scored, and 18 steals for the Twins last season. Makes all kinds of sense for the Dodgers. He and Jose Bautista right now are the 2 most active free agents as far as interest. And so we'll see over the next couple of days where Brian Dozier will end up from the Twins organization. A lot of folks, he'll be in a Dodger uniform starting spring training in a couple of weeks or 4 or 5 weeks from now. So we'll see. But the Cardinals are after him as well. Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live again in studio tomorrow. We're going to be at Chick-fil-A, The Crossings in North Johnson City. We've got some NASCAR news coming up next. We'll do that right after this break. It is 10 before the hour. Coming up at the top of the hour, Charles Stanley and his In Touch program is only he can do. I tell you what, he is phenomenal. He talks down on my level. And I've got books, videos, CDs in my library at home. I tell you, I'm a huge fan of Charles Stanley. And Just some of his books and again, his sermons on tape or on DVD, just phenomenal. The guy is incredible. I saw him one time do a whole sermon. I guess he has a teleprompter. It doesn't look like he does there in Atlanta. But I saw him do a whole sermon on 2 words, Jesus wept, and never stopped to catch his breath. I mean, he was rolling for about 15, 20 minutes doing a sermon, and it looked like with no prompts, he was up there walking around the stage talking based on 2 words in the word, Jesus wept. So anyway, he'll be at the top of the hour in about 9 minutes. We'll take our final look at sports with NASCAR next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Think so? Yeah. Well, thank you. We'll try and squeeze in this NASCAR thing because we're about done here. So, 9 minutes, it's over.
It's already. How's it already?
It was 1 o'clock.
What? What? How? What?
Trying to find the NASCAR story.
Can I go ahead and put my teeth in my bowl?
Pull your tooth? I'll pull your teeth, yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's see, pull a tooth. I did that. That's not, oh yeah. Put it on the door and pull it right out of that puppy came right there. Blood went flying, but she, oh, here it is right here. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. Yep. I saw my brother pull my other brother's tooth, a pair of vice grips in the garage. Threatened with a wiffle ball bat if he didn't let him do it. Oh, growing up in the hills of West Virginia. There you go. Man's got to do what a man's got to do. So. We'll keep you tuned in to what's going on there in Tuscaloosa. If you missed the story a few minutes ago, Lane Kiffin says he's trying to be in the coach's box for the finale. And so I don't know how it's going to shake out. I can't imagine Nick Saban, after we went to this big hoorah that he's leaving, going to Florida Atlantic full-time and not worry about the Alabama offensive coordinator, going to give it to Steve Sarkisian. And so now Kiffin says he wants to be up in the press box with his flip-flop rolls, and we'll let Sark, as he calls him, down on the sideline. We're going to stay up in the press box and help coach the offense for the national championship. That's ego right there, Chief, because he already said he's leaving. He felt like he needed to leave, and so that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen there. Nick Saban will have the last say, I guarantee that, but it's up in the air what's going to happen. J.J. Watt's brother leaving, T.J. Watt, again, leaving Wisconsin early. A lot of these guys stepping out now saying we're going to go and play in the pros. So he has announced just today he's leaving. Ohio State All-American safety Malik Hooker leaving. Washington wide receiver John Ross for the Huskies leaving. We told you earlier in the show Gerard Evans and Isaiah Ford from the Virginia Tech football team leaving early to go to the National Football League. So also receiver tight end Bucky Hodges from the Hokies over the weekend into the draft, so he's losing a quarterback and his top 2 receivers. So a definite rebuilding mode at Virginia Tech. But when you win like you won, 35 unanswered points, that'll get some youngsters' attention. I'm sure we'll play football for Justin Fuente and the Virginia Tech Hokies in Blacksburg. NASCAR news. Again, Trent Owens serving as crew chief for JTG Daugherty Racing's new number 37 Chevrolet team, and driver Chris Buescher this year in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Owens, who celebrates his birthday Wednesday, tomorrow, of 42 years, most recently oversaw Eric Amarola's efforts in the Richard Petty Motorsports number 43 Ford. And so that partnership netted the first Premier Series victory for both driver and crew at Daytona in 2014. And so JTG Daugherty announcing its expansion to a 2-car outfit adding Buscher and A.J. Allmendinger through an arrangement with Roush Fenway Racing. What you're taking all this, letting the drivers jump over from team to team. We're going to borrow this driver, and you can borrow this car, and you can borrow this charter, and we're going to sell you this charter. It's kind of a lot of upheaval behind the scenes, if you will, in NASCAR. What you're taking all this, Ben Foy? Roush Fenway, yeah. Yeah, we gave you the story last week. Target's cutting way back on Kyle Larson and Chip Ganassi Racing, so they're stepping back, and some other driver. I know Zest Soap stepped back from Stenhouse Jr. on the Roush Fenway Racing team in the off season. So a lot of these sponsors can't afford it anymore. They're backing away, or they're not getting the return on the investment they want or like they need to justify staying in the sport. So in NASCAR, it's not cheap to have a NASCAR team. So there are some changes again going on in NASCAR. And again, Trent Owens going to be the crew chief for Chris Buscher going forward here. In the NASCAR season, we're inside of 60 days to the Daytona 500, so not that far away. We're going to be right back to racing again. Spring training in baseball is not that far away. So, again, this weather tells us the first of the year that it's going to be a little cold, and snow. We're going to get Ben to give us forecast again here in a minute real quick. But it's, it also tells you when it's cold weather that spring's right around the corner, and the baseball season and NASCAR not that far away, needless to say, and that's a good thing. When those guys start talking, and ladies, in the case of Danica, start talking testing and all that, I'm thinking, yeah, that means we're getting closer to SPRING. I like it. So he did. He hitched up with Miss Amy, who is a beautiful young lassie. So, yep, Mr. and Mrs. Earnhardt now enjoying their honeymoon wherever they are. So that's good news there, and that always helps. And of course, he's ready to go, come back full time, ready to roll. The most popular driver in NASCAR, so that's good as well. Ben Foy, before we get out of here again, update us with the weather forecast one more time, would you please? Whew, goodness gracious sakes alive. This makes me cold thinking about that, but that's okay because it's temporal. We're not in Alaska. That's the beauty about where we live. It doesn't stay too hot or too cold for too long, so it'll all come right on through, and we'll hunker down for a couple of days, and the temperatures will moderate the first of the week. Hey, the music's rolling. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for your time. We'll be right back at it tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Again, on Facebook Live. Be sure and share us and like us, and also tell your friends and neighbors about AM 790 WETB, and keep it right here after the show to hear the teaching and preaching of Charles Tennant. A lot of folks I've talked to just leave the station on all the time now, and that's great because there's great information and music on these airwaves of AM 790 WETB. So, for Ben Foy and also our guest earlier from audio from Gary Kubiak, the coach of the Broncos, this is Tom Taylor telling you as always, win or lose, be a good sport. And thanks for giving us a listen. We'll rejoin you tomorrow at 11 o'clock on Facebook Live and on AM 790, live from Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City. Until then, so long, everybody. All right, Facebook Live, folks, thank you again. Go to the one-stop shop, TomTaylorSports.com, Facebook Live. And again, when you get there, you can like us and share it, please. Share it out with folks, and you do. We can't thank you enough. It's all over the country. Folks are discovering the show thanks to Facebook and to the radio station and to the streaming audio and to the TuneIn radios. There's several ways you can find us. So thank you again. Have a great Tuesday. And here locally, stay dry and enjoy the warm weather because it's fixing to change. And for the rest of you, thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow and greet you tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Chick-fil-A here in North Johnson City. Until then, as we always tell you, as we said, win or lose, be a good sport. Thanks for giving us a watch here on Facebook Live on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So long, everybody.